What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 11 of our Millwall career here on Football Manager 20. And today, the end of season review, our first season in the championship, of course. And we did get promoted via the playoffs. Pretty remarkable stuff. And we found a way through in the playoff final 1-0 in added time, or extra time, to go ahead and get through. Now, last time we ended it really after the game, we took a small look at what our board has set for us, £33.4 million, $450K a week in terms of wages. And Romeo did injure himself, but that's okay. He's got all summer to recoup. And here we are. We rejoice in promotion success. Absolutely ecstatic that we found a way up. It is pretty incredible. I didn't expect to get here. We did find a really good tactic for home games. This tactic here really worked out for home games, and then really against teams that on the road we could match up with. On the road against really good teams, it did nothing for us. We're gonna have to come up with a tactic for the Premier League where most of the teams are above our quality. It's going to be really difficult to stay up with the team we've got. We're going to have to obviously make some additions, but we'll have to see. Tom Bradshaw praises us following the promotion, and a £1.4 million gets paid out to the players for getting promoted. Now, in a couple of days here, we're going to do our end-of-season stuff, what we think we're going to do in terms of signings. We have a whole new world open to us in terms of targets because we've been promoted to the Premier League. Whether we do what we can with the best players out of the championship, we will have to see. It's going to be a very, very difficult window for us. And the issue also being, as we've reached our end-of-season awards, the issue is going to be getting players in with the idea that possibly we're going to get relegated here. We don't want massive, massive contracts. We don't want anything like that. The idea here is to fight against relegation. We're about to see our vision and expectations, I imagine, is fight bravely against relegation. I think we're going to go... we're going to be in that battle, so it's going to be definitely tough. Fans Player of the Season, Jake Cooper. Ferguson had a really good year as well. Tom Bradshaw. Goal of the season was Ben Thompson against Blackburn. We're going to show it to you. I don't remember it necessarily, but we're obviously going to take a look. I believe it'll be in 2D also, which is... It is what it is, but we'll take a look. Oh, no, it is in 3D. As it gets knocked out here, Ben Thompson is going to collect it and turn. Gives it to Romeo. It's going to come back toward Thompson, I believe. Hits it first time, and that is a heck of a strike, to be fair to him, so he can go ahead and have it. Signing of the season, Niguez on a free. He has not been too bad as a backup. He is 31. Young Player of the Season, James Gardner, of course, but he will also be coming back with us, or coming back to us next year on loan, which is good. Valued at $15 million. We'll just see what they kind of want. Not one of those things we're going to deal with right now. But yes, Young Player of the Season. Season review. Few will have tipped Millwall to achieve more than a top half finish, but we went ahead and found ourselves in the playoffs and obviously promoted. That is awesome stuff. Lost in the 4th round against Leicester in the FA Cup. Lost in the 3rd round against West Ham in the Carabao Cup. We're going to have to find a way to get results against teams like this if we're going to, try and stay up next year. Club vision and expectations. Fight bravely against relegation. So I assume continuing to remain in the Premier League division. They don't have anything here because of how this one may go. Fight bravely against relegation. We'll see if we can possibly stay up. It's going to be very, very difficult next year, and we shall see. Play direct soccer, high tempo, players under the age of 23 for the first team, most of the set pieces, and entertaining soccer. We have been making the most of set pieces recently. Jake Cooper, of course, getting the winning goal via a corner in the playoff final there. Let's see what we can do here. Looking ahead to next season, I'm optimistic we can avoid relegation. Not planning to replace any of you. You've done brilliantly to get us promoted. There are a lot of options here. With the right additions, we can avoid the drop. Yeah, I think we have no chance of beating the drop. Okay, we'll let them. We're gonna try as hard as we can to beat the drop. That's okay. That's all right. One step at a time. We're gonna send them off to Portugal. Off they go. Mahoney on the move. Hull have identified him as a target, believed to be worth $7 million. I think Mahoney and Jed Wallace are going to occupy that right-hand side. We talked recently about grabbing a left-sided player and then having that left-sided player and Niguez and then Jed Wallace and Mahoney. If we're going to have to stay up, we're going to have to be relatively deep with quality players would be the idea. So if we can get 2 6-7 million pound players on the right hand side, that would be ideal. Ruben Duncan is close to signing off. We'll let him roll. That is okay, and we'll see. But let's take a look at the squad for just a moment. Squad, where are we at? Position, and we'll do it this way. So we have a couple of issues we're gonna have to deal with. Goalkeeper being one. I thought about right back as well. Do we want an upgrade on McCarthy? We'll have to see. Center back, it's going to be tough. We really need to upgrade ourselves in a variety of different spaces. A lot of these players will be going back. Malumbi will be going back. Brewster will be going back. May need another. We will need another striker. A left winger. Midfield we're kind of thin. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of, we're going to have to bring in a decent amount of players. I don't want to say we want to change we don't want an entire overhaul and things like that because of what we are, but we need to bring in the right players as well as bringing in quality. So it's going to be a very, very difficult window. Alex Pierce wants a new contract. He's making $8K a week up till 2021. Oh, to be fair, I would like to keep him about. He's had a pretty decent year actually for us. Nothing awful or anything. 6.97 is not great, but not awful. Let's see if we can offer him a new contract. Lower this to squad player. He wants to be an important player. The problem is, yeah, okay. Well, we'll deal with that some other time. He only has a year left on his contract. I was only going to extend it by a little bit, so we'll see. New records for everybody, considering none existed. 22 clean sheets for Bialkowski is pretty good. Jay Cooper was 6th player of the matches from center back. Mahoney with 12 assists, all from pretty much that right-hand side. And then Bradshaw had 17 goals in the league, which is pretty good. Jay Cooper would also like himself a new contract. I don't have a problem necessarily with this one. I'd like to keep him around. Let's try this one. Important player. We'll try regular starter, but important player is good. But he's cool with regular starter. 36K a week. Let's not freak out just yet. Jake. We'll give him a little bit more on the shutout bonuses. We're going to need those, so I don't mind paying off on that in particular. Go with the yearly salary raise of 5%. I'm comfortable with that. We'll give him a Team of the Year bonus. I'm just going to rack this up. He can have it if necessary. Tries 27. I'm going to give him the wage. All right. So 29.5. See, here's the issue here that's going to continue to come our way as we move forward and out of our division into the Premier League with a genuine chance of going straight back down. These contracts cannot get too big. And we're going to have to be very careful with contracts in setting ourselves up for coming back down. We have to set these contracts with the idea that we may come straight back down. Hopefully we can survive that in terms of coaching. I think we can if we put in a pretty decent fight. But we have to be very, very careful, and it's just going to be one of those things. Loan players to return, a couple here. How have you gone? Valued at 180K now. We did buy him for 100,000. We didn't think necessarily he'd be able to get a work permit and come into the team. But I thought we could flip him, and I think we can flip him still. It's going to be one of those things as we get through here and move forward. But yes, so it's a huge thing of change, and I would love to go into more detail of what I'd like to do squad-wise, in theory. But there's just going to be, it's just what we can get, what we can bring in, who's going to, mold in, who's going to sign the contracts we're looking to give out. In a way, going straight up has it's put us in a not so great spot. So there are going to be some difficulties. There definitely are. But the squad for the championship is pretty decent. There are changes I would make. I'd like, as I said, a left winger, another center back, perhaps a younger backup right back than McCarthy. There are some changes, of course. I'd like another creative midfielder. I really would. We've got a couple of loans in there that not necessarily where I would like to end. Another box-to-box. So there are places all over the pitch. Goalkeeper as well. We're not going to have, we're not going to have a goalkeeper at this point. We're going to have Fielding, and he's our backup for Bialkowski now, and then he'll be the only goalkeeper on the books. So we have a lot to deal with. And hopefully we can go ahead and have ourselves a good summer. But I'm going to end this here, and then the beginning of next episode we'll definitely be able to take a genuine look at where we went in the window, what we did, all over the club, all over the pitch, and we'll be able to see it and really analyze it that much better, because it's definitely going to change as we go forward. Bialkowski and Malumbi are leaving. Contracts extensions, Kai George. He's got a lot of scouting left for the lad. So yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. Let's look at the finances for a second. We aren't necessarily in the best spot. Of course, we're in the red at the moment. Whether we get that influx of money toward the beginning or toward the end, I believe is toward the end of the year. So we're going to go down into the red before we get anything back to really show for it. So it's going to be, it's going to be looking not so great. Next year is going to be a difficult year for us, but if we can power through it, then I think that'll put us in a pretty good spot going forward, guys. But that is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you folks have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. And peace.